Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. I've got with me special guest Emma Thorne. Emma, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Applauded in. I'll figure out how to do that without it being weird at some point. We're welcome to some Twit tweets. This shirt, this is an Emma Thorne shirt, citation needed.
Beautiful.
I ordered it like a week ago. It just arrived literally 20 minutes ago. So
there is a God.
I was super pumped for that. That was great. So a couple things. First off, if you're not familiar, this is Emma Thorne to my left, your right, I think. She has a YouTube channel where she mostly pisses off Kent Hovind. Maybe not mostly, but that seems to be what happens recently. There's other content there too, but
he's really easy to annoy though. So
I've been having bad luck. I've been trying to bait him into whacking me again. But he seems to maybe I swear too much, which is weird because I don't actually swear all that much. But in my video that's coming up tomorrow, I'm actually responding to Matt Powell, and there's a little bit where I make a joke about Matt having Kent's dick in his mouth, and then I play a clip of Kent saying, "They got things in their mouths that I wouldn't touch in my hand."
Wow, yeah, so, I'm sure they'll love that.
Yeah, and actually, with regards to tomorrow's video, it is a sponsored video, and as part of the contract, I'm not allowed to have that video go up within 24 hours of another video, and this live stream counts as another video. So my video tomorrow will be a bit delayed because of the live stream here. It's contract issues or whatever, but so don't worry when you don't see my normal video from me. Also, I chop my streams up into chunks and put them up on my other channel called The Watering Hole. So if you guys go subscribe over there, that would be appreciated. I'm
assuming there's a link in the description.
Yeah, there's a link in the description for The Watering Hole. There's a link in the description for Emma's channel. There's probably other links in the description. I don't know. Lots of stuff.
There's something down there. Click on it.
There's stuff in the description. Go read it, and you'll see what it is. And with regards to the super chat things, I was not noticing them last week because the notification noise wasn't happening. Jeremy Buck sent a super chat right when I scheduled the live stream, and it confirmed that the noises work. And there's another one about to come. There it is. I set up a little noise. So that's I'm gonna read super chats and tip messages and everything at the end. So thank you for that, but I will be taking care of that at the end in an attempt to stay focused, which we all know I'm so good at. So anyway, shall we read some news articles?
Let's see. What is happening in the world? Nothing good, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, there's a fun little one that we're going to finish with. It starts dark, it gets darker, and then finishes on a high note.
Classic storytelling, that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I have the wrong thing up. Okay, so there we go. This comes from Right Wing Watch. Several GOP candidates are joining Q Anon conspiracy theorists for an event in Pennsylvania.
It just sounds like The Onion or something. I don't know what's real anymore.
Nothing is real anymore. Nothing and everything. So
tragic.
Yeah, so okay. Is this a real last name? It sounds made up to me. I mean, all last names are made up if you go back far enough. It's like Alan and Francine Fosdick. I don't generally make fun of people's names. I feel like you
wouldn't choose that though, right? If you were making up a pseudonym, you probably wouldn't choose that.
Yeah, maybe not. But Dick didn't always mean what it did. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't have had Dick being a nickname for Richard. I also used to work with a guy who, I'm not going to say his full name, but his first name started with E and his last name was Dick. And everybody just called him E-Dick. And he didn't believe that we landed on the moon.
Oh,
so that was
a coincidence.
So yeah, people with Dick in their last names tend to be conspiracy theorists, I guess.
There we go.
I'm sorry if your last name is Dick and you're not a conspiracy theorist.
It's
but
fine. Everything's fine.
yeah, so these two, they host a program called Upfront in the Prophetic, and it promotes stuff like, that President Joe Biden was executed and replaced by an imposter who is wearing a mask.
Yep.
Like, what? That was the first I'd heard of that one. Like, I had heard that, like, Joe Biden was, like, a fake guy that was planted by Trump, and that like, he was really Trump in disguise or something, and that's how, like, Trump won the election. But, like, what?
Sure.
They just killed him and replaced him with some other guy?
I like that. It's like Face Off.
Who
We have the technology.
I'm curious about that one. I want to know who did the replacing, and like, is the replacement like one of the reptilians that QAnon is fighting against, or is it like part of the deep state? Or no, not the deep state. Deep state's also against QAnon, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I think the lizards are the part of the deep state, right?
I don't know. I can't keep
It's
it
been a
straight.
while since I've caught up.
You know what? The first time I heard about the deep state, I honestly it wasn't in any crazy sort of conspiracy like site or anything. Like, I just heard that, like, some people believe that there is a secret group of like government higher ups that are like working quietly behind the scenes to undermine everything that Trump did, and it was presented very reasonably, and my gut reaction was like, good. That sounds like a great thing to have happening right now.
That makes sense.
How do we even know about this? And then I started looking into it more. It's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so yeah, I'm on record now as wanting the deep state to be a thing that exists.
You're just trying to bait those reaction videos, aren't you?
I guess. So she once hosted a prayer call aimed at exposing former President Barack Obama's supposed involvement in child trafficking and uncovering the true identity of Michelle Obama as a man. So got to get.
I love that those
get,
two things are equally important.
Yeah, like they just got to get a little transphobia in there.
Yeah, like Michelle Obama's gender and massive child trafficking ring run by the government.
I mean,
like,
as long as we're talking about the child trafficking ring, let me just take a quick sip of my adrenochrome. Yeah, that's a thing that I recorded. That's also in tomorrow's video, by the way. That was one of those moments where it's like, okay, I've just made a mess on my office floor. I've stained my shirt with, I think it was tomato juice. Or no, it was adrenochrome. I've stained a perfectly good shirt. It was one of my better shirts too, so it was just like I wasn't really thinking when I did it. And like it was just one of those like, okay, if I'm going to this much trouble for this like 2-second silly joke of a shot, I'm going to use that for more than just that.
yeah, that's got to be a regular to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. So despite these people being like full-blown conspiracy theorists thinking the craziest of the conspiracy theories are true, like these ridiculous things, a bunch of GOP candidates and like people who are running for, Doug Mastriano is running for governor. Let's see, who else is there? This whole article is just basically a list of them. Teddy Daniels is running for lieutenant governor. Kathy Barnett is running for the U.S. Senate for Pennsylvania. So I guess that'd be the federal Senate, not the Pennsylvania State Senate. So yeah, you need more QAnon supporters to keep Marjorie Taylor Greene company in the Senate, right? No, she's not in the Senate.
Isn't that just
she's
wild?
in the House. Yeah.
It's amazing that this is a thing that people like running for governor can do, and it's not the sort of thing that comes out as a secret and there's sufficient backlash that their career would be ruined. It's mad.
Yeah, you remember back like when Watergate happened, and well, okay, we're both too young to remember that, but
yeah.
But like that back then, like yeah, they got away with a lot of shit back then, but if you got caught, you had to resign.
That was the end. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be a thing now.
Every single day of the Trump administration was a scandal that dwarfed Watergate. Every single day.
Yeah, this is just what we live with now. Can I just say as well, the Patriots Arise event poster is the most like aggressively American thing I've ever seen.
America, fuck yeah!
It's so good. It looks like a parody.
It really does. Yeah, and so I guess like the response to this is like it's the common response to this from the GOP people when they get called out for it is like, oh, well, you're doing a guilt by association thing. Oh, that's not fair. Just because the other people at the conference believe that doesn't mean I believe that. It's like, okay, you could choose not to speak at the conference. Like if you do just a base level of vetting at the events that you speak at,
Yeah.
then you won't be in this position where you'll be guilty by association.
Yeah, and I mean my response to that would be, well, what of their views do you agree with? Why are you attending? What is it that you share with them that you believe in enough to like stand with people who have those crazy views? Because there's got to be something.
Yeah, so there's an author, Sheila Holm, who she thinks that the Men in Black are real, but for some reason they couldn't control Donald Trump. Is it that you need to have a fully functioning brain for the flashy thing to work?
Yeah, maybe they tried and then it was too late.
See, that I think the Trump presidency is pretty solid evidence that the big conspiracies like Area 51 and shit like that didn't actually happen. Because can you imagine him actually sitting on that as a secret?
Oh yeah, no, it would all be blasted everywhere, and like misconstrued to a much bigger conspiracy than it would actually be. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is American politics now. That's fun.
It's kind of just depressing. So part of me was like, wow, what would a convention like that actually be like? And then I was like, probably scary, probably a lot of crazy people with guns.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd just rather never know.
I kind of want to attend one, but I also really don't want to attend one.
Yeah, I would be afraid to attend one. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I'd like to attend via like a little secret camera on somebody's collar. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if we can get a double agent inside the Patriot Arise for God and Country event.
Yes.
Taking
yes.
back what is rightfully ours.
I really want to know. I mean, I know that it's essentially just dog whistle as a phrase, but like I want to know what they're taking back and from whom and how they know that it rightfully belongs to them and who ours encompasses. There's just that one sentence says so much and yet nothing at all.
They're taking it's one of two things. They're either like if you ask them about it, this will be the public answer, is that it's about the stolen election.
Mm-hmm.
But what they want you to get from that is make America great again. Let's go back to the 1950s before civil rights and take the country back from the liberals and the gays and the trans and the blacks and
yeah, it's just not as catchy a tagline, I guess.
Yeah, well, and it's harder to dance away from the fact that that's what you want if you just come out and say it.
Yeah, true.
This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, everybody knows that that's what you're getting at, but there's enough plausible deniability that and it's unfortunate.
It's pretty unfortunate.
Oh, so you remember when we were scheduling this together? This is completely off topic, so I'm transitioning to the next article by completely derailing. So remember when we were scheduling this, and I said that Thursdays would work better than Fridays because my daughter gets home from school early on Fridays?
Yeah.
Well, I forgot that we're celebrating a human sacrifice tomorrow, so all the schools are closed.
Oh, yeah.
So my daughter's on the Friday schedule today, so there is a non-zero chance that she'll pop in at the end of the stream.
Yeah. I forgot until like 10 minutes ago, so...
Yeah, so happy Human Sacrifice Day, everybody. That's
Yay.
Tomorrow. And then I guess Sunday is it's not actually a sacrifice because it only counts as sacrificial if you stay dead day?
Yeah, just roll out of bed early day. I don't know. I don't know what people do to celebrate that.
You need to find a catchier name that encompasses that feeling. Human Sacrifice Day works. All right, so next up, this is where we're going to turn into, like, American politics are dark. Then we go really dark, and we talk about the subway shooter that happened this past week. So I picked this article, and like specifically all the articles kind of give the same information, but this one points out that the shooter actually, like, he called the tip line on himself. Because he, like, after he did it, he was just like sitting in a McDonald's waiting to get caught, and nobody was coming to catch him. So he called the tip line to tell them to come and catch him, and then they took so long getting to him that he got bored and left. And so like the police had to have like a citizen point out and be like, hey, it was funnily enough. So one of the problems they had is that the security cameras in the subway weren't working, and they say that it was only these 3 cameras out of the 10,000 cameras were not working that day. It's like, I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
Yeah, I think you could also rephrase it as all of the cameras at this station that we needed were broken on the same day.
Yeah, but they have 10,000 cameras and all of them were working except for those 3.
No,
that
just no.
But the guy that actually like caught him and turned him over to the police was he's a security camera installer.
Oh.
So it's like his name is Zach. So if they just had Zach install the security cameras, or like fix the security cameras for them, then they wouldn't have had that issue in the first place. But
Zach's doing all the police's work for them. That's clearly all we need.
It's like New York City has one of the most expensive police departments there is, and I think it's like $10 billion a year is their budget.
Wow.
And so for $10 billion a year, they couldn't find a guy that turned himself in.
Yeah.
Without help.
Yeah. And the best part for me is that then they were like, they did this tweet about it, and they were like, he had nowhere to hide. We caught him.
Yeah.
It's like he literally gave himself in. Like he was like, hey, if I'm not in the McDonald's, I'll be charging my phone down the street. And they're like, yeah, we got him.
Yeah. Frank Robert James had nowhere else to run or hide and is now in NYPD custody. The work of our detectives is second to none, and the dedication of our patrol officers is never ending, he says after they had trouble finding him after he turned himself in.
Yeah, why would you? Maybe whoever does their social media wasn't in the know, but like that's only going to come and bite you on the ass.
Yeah.
Don't be smug about it if you didn't really do it.
Yeah, well, I also, I don't think it was in this article. It was in one of the other things I read about. It was like they were saying they were increasing police presence in the subways to stop this sort of thing from happening. And someone was saying that like, oh, well, what are they going to do? Put a police officer? Like the extra police presence isn't going to help.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I don't know if the timeline actually lines up, but I have heard that while this was happening and they were looking for the guy who did the shooting, there was another team of New York City police that were arresting people, like homeless people in Central Park or something, just for the crime of existing homelessly.
Yeah.
So it's
like top to bottom, it's like cultural issues, right? It's not it's nothing that police funding is going to solve, especially because like it's like, oh, another shooting where a gun was perfectly legally purchased, and everything was like, it's like maybe there's an issue of gun control here. Maybe there's an issue of if we're going to fund anything like mental health support. There's like the list is extensive before you get to more cops. I don't see any way, unless there happened to be, like people said, unless there happened to be a police officer in that train carriage, like right next to him. I don't see how that could have helped.
Well, it might be. Yeah. Okay. So, this was. Oh, where's his name? His first name is probably higher up in the article, but it's a guy named Reynoso. He said more cops is not necessarily going to solve this problem. I think there are root causes to this violence that exist. Mostly mental health at this point is what we're seeing in New York City. The guy was from Philadelphia. He came to New York City, but that's kind of beside the point. And that's where we should be spending resources and energy. More cops to respond to a crime won't necessarily stop the crime. In this case, the individual was inside a train car, so unless you believe that you can put a police officer in every single train car in New York City, which is physically impossible, that is not the way we're going to solve that issue. Counterpoint, that is physically possible. It's just highly, highly impractical.
Yeah. It's not really feasible, but it's technically possible. But yeah, no, I
But
think, I
I
mean, the first thing I thought was like, why is it so easy to legally have semi-automatic handguns
yeah,
if,
because
you know,
he got 30
you're,
shots off.
yeah,
Like,
it's a miracle nobody died. Like,
yeah, well, not a miracle. You said
not a
miracle. That
miracle.
means you're Christian now automatically because you said miracle.
I know. Sometimes I say soul, sometimes I say my soul hurts, and I get really told off for that.
Sometimes I say thank God.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
I actually, I I usually change that to thank fuck, but sometimes my kids are around and they've heard all the words, but formalities have to be observed. And
Yeah,
if they hear me swear, they immediately like all turn to me and point and go, "You said a no word."
I
Like,
can't believe you've done this.
it's like,
Yeah.
yes, I did say a no
I
word.
like to, I try and go for oh my gosh in a push because it's safe in all areas, but then you sound a bit, oh my gosh, my giddy goodness. No.
I'm sorry, that was just amazing. You just sounded so British with that right there.
Exactly, that's the problem.
All right, so that's kind of all we want to say. There is that states has like you're a Canadian and a Brit commenting on the state of things in the states.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what?
What is going on with your gun control?
You know what? As much as I don't know if the culture is the same in England, but in Canada, we like to pretend that the states are not as important as they actually are. So like
Okay.
anything that makes them look less important is like, oh well, no, see, the states aren't all that, but really they are the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens there affects the rest of the world. So that's why I comment on American politics, and it's also it's more eye catching because Canadian politics is boring because for the most part we just do it the way it's supposed to be done. For the most part, there are things like Doug Ford that happen, and what's his face out in Alberta.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I complain about British politics pretty regularly, but you know,
I mean, you guys got Boris.
we got Boris. Yeah. Oh, Boris. But like the US news, it affects us all. And I would say probably you would have slightly more right to be concerned because it's like next door. So
Oh yeah. I can
I feel a
literally
bit safer having an ocean between.
I can literally see buffalo from my front yard.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
cool.
not like a Sarah Palin exaggeration. I can see Russia from here. That's like I there's literally a river right over there that I look across it and there's buffalo.
That's cool.
No, it's not because Buffalo's a city that might potentially be on a list of places to drop nukes.
Yeah, no, that's very uncool. I just I like the idea of being able to see, being able to look across a border like that.
It is kind of nice sometimes because it's like I live in a small town and so we can have like kind of the small town life. But if we want to do something big city wise, there is Buffalo right over there. And
There you go.
when the borders open, like we've been known to pop across to the zoo or the Buffalo Science Center is a lot of fun as well.
Hmm.
We've been meaning to go. They have an observatory that they like on certain days they will let the public use their telescope, and it's like this big giant
Oh,
telescope.
that's cool.
But we were planning on going to that, and then they shut down the border like right before we were about to.
Yeah,
And yeah.
got it.
Oh, people are saying Buffalo, the city or the animal, the city. I don't think anyone's going
Just
to target
one,
the animals, buffaloes,
one
for
really
nukes.
big buffalo. Yeah, we got to take it out.
All right. Last news item today. This headline speaks to my soul. This is it's Canadian. It's got sperm. It's got 3D printing. Like this is my headline. This was written for me.
Totally.
And oh, actually, I recently fixed my 3D printer. It was giving me issues, and this just sidebar fun fact: the way I fixed it was to burn it with fire, like
Okay.
quite literally. Because what had happened is there's like this little metal block that is like there's a heating element in it that's what heats up the nozzle, And so
Right.
you screw the nozzle into the metal block, and then on top of that is a heat break. So it's just like a little bit of metal that sticks out that gives a little break so that the heat doesn't creep up into the rest of the extruder and melt the plastic too early and clog everything up. So that when you screw the nozzle in and you screw the heat break in, they have to meet in the middle, but they have to not be putting too much pressure on each other. And when I had changed the nozzle, I think there was just like a little tiny gap there. I hadn't quite screwed it in far enough. And so the plastic was like squooshing out of there and leaking outside of the hot end, and it was like gobbing up on the nozzle and knocking the prints off the print bed as they were going. And so that's what was causing my issues. And so when I took the whole thing apart, of course it's cold now, so the plastic is solid and it's coated on everything. So how do you get the plastic off? Well, these are parts that are designed to get pretty hot, right? Grab a kitchen blowtorch and just go to town on those bad boys. You literally burn it with fire. And,
That's awesome.
And now it works.
Yeah, I saw you printed a little Cthulhu, right?
Yes.
That was adorable.
That Cthulhu has caused me so many issues. It wasn't the model, because the model is an easy model to print, and I know that. That's why I kept trying it. I'm like, there's no reason this should be failing. So like, I would try and fix something on the printer, and then I'd print Cthulhu again, and then it would die, and then so I have like 6 half Cthulhus kicking around the house right now, and yeah. So that now I finally have an actual Cthulhu.
Oh well, all's well that ends well. Did you not consider at some point that you might be tapping into ancient alien forces unknown?
I did. That was the joke. Is that I'm trying to summon Cthulhu and he doesn't want to be summoned right now. So
yeah, leave him to his sleep.
All right. So this is a lab in the University of British Columbia. So Canadian. Woo. Now this, I want to talk a little bit about headlines being deceptive. If you just read the headline here, you think that they 3D printed sperm cells, right?
Yeah.
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 That's not what happened.
No,
they haven't gotten to sperm yet. It's really, really fucking cool, and it could lead to new fertility treatments, because one of the problems with fertility is when either the male doesn't produce enough sperm, or there's a blockage where the sperm doesn't make it out of the testicles, but there are sperm being produced. And one of the ways they can solve that is by going into the testicles and like microscopically extracting individual sperm cells and then trying in vitro fertilization with that. But there's like a 50% success rate with that, and it's not a comfortable surgery. So so for fertility issues, that can be a really big blow to a couple that want to have a baby. So what they're doing is they've actually, let me get, there we go. So they're bioprinting cells in 3D. So what they're doing is they've cultured stem cells from a testicular biopsy. And then they cultivate those cells in like cell culture. And then they 3D print those cells into structures that are similar to the sperm producing seminiferous tubules that are found in the testicles, with the hopes that they would then do the job that they would do in the testicles and produce sperm, but without being inside. And they got about halfway. So they didn't.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty similar. It's like a 3D printing version of transplanting eggs for IVF. It's really neat. I do kind of, going back to the title, I kind of regret the title of this, because like as soon as I read it earlier, I was like, I can feel the like red pill response, and I want to be like, no, catch it before it gets out there. I can feel like incels on the internet being like, they're gonna replace men, so they're gonna print sperm. It's like, no. It's like any kind of IVF stuff, you need the cells from the human to start with to be able to kick the process off.
Yeah.
But like you say, for like infertility treatments, it's really, really neat.
Yeah, it is really neat. Yeah, I purposely titled my stream a little bit deceptive, just to kind of get on the bandwagon with that. Can 3D printing get you pregnant? Yeah. But I think mine's less deceptive than this one.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I agree.
Like, obviously, mine is a little bit misleading just from like out of context, but once you learn about it, it's like, yeah, no, this is talking about how to use 3D printers to get pregnant. Now, stuff like this is in preliminary research phases. So like if this does have a clinical use, it'll probably not be used widely for probably about 10 to 20 years at the least. If it goes faster, that would be great. But stuff like advances like this take a long time to hammer out all the details. But yeah, no, let's. We got to the middle stage of sperm production, Flanagan explained. And yeah, so this is pretty fantastic stuff.
It's pretty cool. And then like the other thing they mentioned is, you can kind of hope that as a side effect, by studying that stage of like sperm production, they might be able to cure some of the infertility problems. Anyway, it could lead to sort of a better understanding of what causes those.
PZ Myers is in the chat. Is that the PZ Myers?
Not the PZ Myers.
PZ Myers. We're British and Canadian.
Yes. Yes.
So sperm maturation is absolutely complex, so they're a million miles away from function. Yes, they're like middle of sperm production is not necessarily middle with regards to how much work they have left to do. Because oftentimes, like, you get 99% of the way there, and then that last 1% takes just as much work as the first 99%.
That makes sense.
So it's even possible that this isn't going to pan out at all, but it would be amazing if it did. But yeah, I think you were.
It's just good to study. Good to start. You gotta start somewhere.
And yeah, and on. It says I'm the other one. But yeah, no, it's and obviously an advance like this, it can, like, there's not necessarily just the one use for it. Like you said, we can learn, the more we learn about how these cells function, the more likely we are to be able to develop even more treatments for this sort of thing.
Yeah. Plus, there's a bunch of scientists who get to say that their job right now is 3D printing sperm.
Yes.
So.
Well, no, 3D
win-win.
printing testicular cells that could lead to sperm production.
Yes. Yes.
Can't
3D
be
printing
clickbaity.
to facilitate sperm.
Don't be clickbaity. Oh, speaking of clickbaity, remind me, after we leave, I need to get a few like still shots of you making ridiculous faces for the thumbnails. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, so that's it for the articles. Let's move on to some tweets. We're going to start with Answers in Genesis.
Oh, my favorite.
Everyone loves AIG.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they've linked to an article that they have written about Oregon. Apparently I say it wrong when I just say it, but I'm not
Oregon.
Oregon?
I would say Oregon, I think.
Oregon.
Oregon.
Like your heart and liver, you like the organs?
The organs.
So
we're the wrong people to work this out.
You know what? Another tangent. I've recently discovered, and I've talked about this on streams before, so I apologize if I'm boring the audience, but I've recently discovered that Canadian English, I used to think it was pretty much, like, spelling-wise, was identical to British English. But thanks to Google having changed their spell check to be regional, where now, like, if you set it to American English, it'll underline a British spelled word as incorrectly spelled, and vice versa. But there's no Canadian option. And I've realized from this that Canadian is this big mashup of British spellings and American spellings. So there's
no.
Like if I set it to British, then anything that ends with an IZE gets underlined because it's ISE in England or the UK. And if I set it to American, then color and favor and neighbor and all those get underlined because I put the U in.
Oh my God, you can't win.
It's
what
infuriating.
A nightmare.
I'm just adding the things to the dictionary as I go, but it's like, can you not just, like, have an option for if it's spelled right in any version of the English language that it will, like, that it'll just accept it as correct? Because apparently Canada's weird. But we knew that.
Typical.
Anyway.
Canada. Always got to be different, haven't you?
Anyway, Oregon is imploring people to stop having kids. And apparently, according to AIG, I haven't actually fact-checked this. I haven't read the article. I just want to talk about what they said in their tweet, which is, if no one had children, the human race would become extinct. Thus, life is ultimately meaningless.
You heard it here first.
What? How does that even remotely follow?
I just take that sentence out of context. Life is ultimately meaningless. Answers in Genesis.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, okay, so I get that they mean, like, ultimate meaning is that whole, like, if you don't live forever, then eventually everything that has had anything to do with you is at some point going to not exist anymore. Therefore, your life had no ultimate meaning.
Sure.
But since I'm not going to be around in 5 billion years when the sun swallows the earth, I don't care that no one else that's around then knows what I did at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's very bizarre.
the word
And
ultimate.
I'm assuming that it's like, you know, Oregon's got like an overpopulation issue. And they're probably like, maybe we should think about how many children people are having. I don't know. It could be to do with anything. It could be financial. I don't know. But like, I'm assuming they're not saying everyone have no more children, because otherwise, you know, it's just
Yeah.
a bit of a. It's not quite a straw man, but it's sort of like Answers in Genesis are sort of taking an opponent as saying, nobody have any more children
whoops.
ever, and no more humans will exist.
So I just accidentally played my adrenochrome video again. I didn't know it was going to okay, so I went back to the articles thing because I opened up the news article that they have here, so we can see what the heck they're even talking about. And I guess it just automatically played the video when I went back to the thing. So there is an organization called StopHavingKids.org, which I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that that's not an official government organization, so it's not Oregon telling people.
Yeah, is this some sort of anti-natalist group?
Yeah, they got antinatalism right up at the top. Stop Having Kids acknowledges that there's an unconscionable amount of needless suffering, injustice, and death in the world, with birth serving as the catalyst for it all. Ooh, just got a call from British Columbia. Those are scammers. Our goal is a collective liberation movement. Yeah, no, they're not a government organization. So this is not Oregon telling people to stop having kids.
No.
It's just that it's on a billboard.
Yeah.
But, like, so a recent news article caught my attention on the lengths that the anti-life liberals will go to promote their radical agenda.
Wow.
Who's anti-life? I
Anti-life.
mean, maybe the
liberals.
people, maybe the people that refuse to support babies after they're born.
Yeah, which might be part of the reason people are feeling disenfranchised in the first place. I do think antinatalism, like, and especially in like groups, can be taken to a weird extreme.
It can.
But I like the Answers in Genesis instead of actually tackling that, because they could probably, you know, have a good case and a good article for their followers to talk about antinatalism as a thing and like use extreme cases as an example. But to just be like, no, it's Oregon's stopping people having children,
and it's all the liberals.
It's all the liberals.
It's
All
the liberals.
liberals
This is what liberals
hate
want.
children. We don't want anyone to have children. Everybody stop having children immediately.
But I like this sentence. It says, and as you can already guess by the name, its message is anti-biblical fear-mongering. So if Stop Having Kids is a name that says to you anti-biblical fear-mongering, like, I guess we all knew that they were just pro have as many kids as you possibly can, because that's the best way to continue on our ministry, is to indoctrinate them when they're young.
Yeah. It's feels like a little bit of a persecution complex to see that and be like, this is anti-biblical.
They're complaining that on their Instagram, the billboard they put up, they labeled it as their baby. They say, oh, and to make it sadder, on their Instagram page, they labeled this billboard as their baby. Oh, that's fantastic. I think that's hilarious. Like, that's a joke. That's not supposed to be sad.
Yeah, that is amusing.
But even worse than their billboards are their protest signs with such affirming messages as the world doesn't need you to continue your bloodline's genetics or family name, and having kids is far beyond a personal choice. It's clear that guilt, fear, and alarmism are the primary methods for spreading their propaganda.
well, that feels a bit like a cell phone. I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, they like to pretend that us talking about things like climate change is fear mongering, but it's like, no, if climate change demonstrably exists, then it's not fear mongering to say we should probably do something about this actual problem that exists in real reality.
Yeah. I
But
would say that claiming the liberals are all trying to stop us having children and make us go extinct is probably more fear mongering.
yeah, like they're literally.
Yeah.
I'm literally reading an article right now where they're trying to scare people into being afraid of liberals because they want you to not have kids. They hate your babies. Liberals hate your babies. Let's drink some more adrenochrome. I'm so sorry for that video. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, back to the tweets. So yeah, we got a bonus news article from Answers in Genesis.
Yeah, thanks, Answers in Genesis. They always deliver.
Yeah. Life is meaningless if you don't have kids. Okay, the next one comes from Chris Land. Now, I checked up on Chris Land. He is definitely a Christian who is into some extreme stuff sometimes. But I found this funny, and not to call Chris a twit with this one, but like someone, I guess like this Bethel, or no, Billy Johnson Ministries. Sorry, I saw the B, and there is the word Bethel in there. So I was like, Bethel
Yeah.
Ministries. Like, nope, that's not them. But yeah, Billy Johnson Ministries is a faith healer, I guess. And so this guy says, never trust a faith healer with glasses. And I really like that. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that made me do a little double take. Like I've never thought of that before.
Someone in the chat is quoting you as saying, I would absolutely stomp on a baby.
I did say that. I did I did say that. I was playing a video game, and I think that there was a question of whether I would be able to fight a baby or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't. Because yeah, it's one of the many quotes that has been taken out of context somewhat. They were right. They were right. I hate babies. What can I say?
I don't really blame you. You know what's funny? So let's see, my daughter's not home yet, so I can get away with telling the story without her hearing. She was a very shitty child as a baby. And I mean that in the most literal way possible.
In the literal
shit
sense, okay.
Everywhere. Like there were times when we would wake up in the morning, we'd go to pick her up from her crib and find her sitting there perfectly happy, covered in shit. Her whole crib covered in shit. The walls covered in shit. And like
Wow.
her first 2 days home from the hospital, we went through an 84 pack of diapers. Because she would
Oh my
she would
God.
poop, and then we'd wait a little bit so that she could finish pooping, and then we'd change the diaper, and as soon as we got the clean diaper under there, more would come out. And then we would just wait. We'd sit there and wait. You done yet? You done? Okay, seems to be done. But no, she was never like, we would regularly go through like 4 diapers at a changing, and like I know people are probably thinking like, oh, we were getting impatient and weren't waiting long enough. No, we waited a while, and and it just
That's
all the
so
time.
funny.
And we recently stumbled on a photo album that has like a 3D ultrasound picture of her when she was
Cool.
in the womb, and one of them, she's got a smile. Except if you know anything about newborn babies, like babies can't smile until they're, I think it's about 6 months old. When they look like they're smiling when they're that age, that means they're pooping.
Yeah.
So it's like we literally have a picture of her before she was even born pooping, because that's just how shitty of a child she was.
That's so amazing. What a legacy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is one of the many reasons I like looking at other people's babies and then handing them back
Yes.
for them to deal with. Those
PZ Myers is down there saying, you're promoting the anti-natalist agenda by telling that story. Yeah, maybe I am. She was our first child. We had 2 more after that. Like, we had one, and then we were like, you know what? I like that. Let's do it again. I don't know what we were thinking. I love my kids.
Aw.
Yeah, they're great kids, for the most part. This is not a tweet. This is from my my YouTube. This is from the Watering Hole YouTube channel. Go subscribe there now. This comment no longer exists. I don't delete many comments, but I deleted this one.
I think that's fair.
Lee Shackelford says, there was nothing wrong with putting the Japanese in camps. This is referring to the internment camps in World War II. Yes, there was.
There's just no way to take that other than no. No. Why?
And what was weird, those... Okay, so Lee Shackelford posted 2 comments on the video that this was on. And one of them was admonishing me for not having read the news article thoroughly before beginning. That was on me. We did kind of stumble over it a little bit because it's like, oh, well, like stuff happened last minute. It's like I knew I wanted to talk about this, but I haven't had time to read the whole article because that was just a nasty day. And yeah, I should have like picked something that I knew that I was more familiar with rather than like reading it on stream and just becoming familiar with it right then and there. But I'm still kind of new at this, so I'm getting my legs under me. And so I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's a reasonable criticism, whatever. And then I saw their name pop up again. And we're like, okay, well, maybe there's another reasonable criticism. Nope.
No. Just horror.
Yeah, no. So thanks, Lee. I hope that's not your real name.
I have nothing to say to that other than like, that's horrible and you're wrong.
Yeah. Like, oh, I should have grabbed it for this. There's someone on Twitter quote tweeted me. I forget what I had said. It was something about the genocides in the Bible. But they quote tweeted me and was like, oh, well, you're an American, aren't you? Well, the Americans dropped nukes on cities in World War II. That, that was defensive. So it was okay. And I was like, okay, no, I'm not American. And
all of that is wrong. In
even
many
if I
ways.
was, being American doesn't automatically make nuking cities in Japan okay. Now, I know there's that argument about like, oh, if they didn't nuke the cities, then we would have lost so many more people with an actual invasion of soldiers. That's a what if scenario. We don't know that actually would have happened. We don't know that there aren't other ways that could have been averted because we dropped the nukes. Like, we live in the reality we live in, and nuking civilians is wrong. I'm comfortable saying that.
Wow, that's amazing.
But like,
God,
yeah,
I think I've heard Kent Hovind say that.
Probably.
I think I've heard him talk about that recently, about how that was a good idea. But like, I was going to say that's like when Kent Hovind makes me responsible for the old kings and queens of Britain chopping off people's heads. It's like that wasn't me though. I didn't do that. Like, even if you were American, you would be responsible. It's
your fault that King Henry VIII was killing his wives because he was too concerned with the religious rules about divorce.
Yeah, my bad. That means it's my fault we've got the Church of England.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
How is it that a country that literally has an official church of the state that has representatives in the government is somehow more secular than the States?
I think overall we just care less about stuff. There's a bit of traditionalism that attaches people to Christianity here, but it's just tiny in comparison.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm kind of an anti-royalist, where I think the royal family is a waste of tax dollars.
I just find it so incredibly weird. Like, occasionally, like, I'll see a bit of the Queen on the news, and it's like trumpets and people standing up, and I'm like, but that's just like, that could be my grandma. And imagine if my grandma came into the room and we all started playing trumpets and like getting down on our knees and stuff. It's just so bizarre.
Yeah, yeah, it's like at some point in the not too distant future, Canada is going to have to spend a lot of money to change all of its money to not have the Queen's face on it anymore.
Yeah.
Can we like maybe take that opportunity to just not have like maybe have important Canadians of history? Like, what's his face that discovered penicillin? Maybe him.
Yeah. It's a wild idea.
Yeah. There are more famous Canadians that did good things, but that's the one that came to mind, and my mind doesn't always work when I'm live. Okay, so next we have Lauren Bobert. So this, I was actually on the fence over, like, I almost picked a news article that was written about this, and I'm like, no, they're just saying all the same things that I want to say, so I'll just read the tweet and then say what I want to say about it. So we require people to be 21 to purchase alcohol beverages and 21 to purchase tobacco products. Why is it so unreasonable to require people to reach certain levels of maturity before making life-altering decisions about their sexuality and identity? So what I'm getting out of this tweet is that everybody should be raised non-binary. And
yeah, that was exactly my take. It was like, yeah, exactly. That's why all young people should have access to puberty blockers if they need them.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Everybody's on puberty blockers until they're age 21, because that's what Lauren Boebert wants.
Yeah.
Like
the 21 seemed weird to me, but that's because obviously the ages are younger here.
Yeah, they're
like,
younger here too. I
don't want to make any.
I find
so
it.
You go ahead.
Sorry, I find it weird that in the States you are legally allowed to decide whether or not you want to have sex on camera for a living before you're considered mature enough to handle alcohol.
Yeah, and driving, and you can drive super young. You can do all sorts of crazy things, but alcohol is not one of them. I don't know. But yeah, this reeks of stupidity.
Well, I have hope that my kids will not be partiers in high school because I am not making alcohol taboo to them.
Mm-hmm.
So like, when I have a bottle of wine, we'll offer it like, I'll give you a little bit of watered down wine if you want. And usually they don't want because it's not something that's forbidden. So it's just something that tastes bad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the way.
Yeah. And the alcohol thing is to cut down on DW. It doesn't cut down on DW. You think kids can't get alcohol?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
even in Canada.
Back in my day, it was all sugary Alco Pops. That was what we get. We get like really, really low percentage. My mum would buy us like a pack of really brightly coloured, mostly like cola or whatever. You just get high off the sugar.
Captain Cadaver says put Ryan George on the Canadian money. Is he Canadian? I didn't know he was Canadian.
I think he is Canadian.
That makes sense.
Sounds right. Yeah.
He's always in the flannel shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
So that makes sense. But yeah, I'd take Ryan George on our money.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess Lauren just wants people to be non-binary.
Yeah. Just don't make decisions about anything. Although, I'm pretty sure she'd be perfectly fine with all of the conformative stereotypes and adult stuff that is imposed on children.
Yeah.
Love stories about heterosexual couples, things like that.
Yeah, no, it's only bad when it's not the one that I am.
Yeah.
Like it's just mind-boggling to me that these people don't understand that being straight is sexuality.
Yeah.
Like, exposing kids to heterosexual couples by saying I have a mom and a dad is exactly the same as exposing them to homosexual couples that say I have two moms or two dads.
Exactly. I got I said to a friend earlier I was going to do Twit tweets tonight, and he was like, "Oh, you need to see this tweet." And it was this cringe-tastic, like it was like, "I'm not cis, I'm normal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not straight, I'm normal." It was that one.
I'm gonna see if I can find that.
It's like maximum cringe, and my favorite sort of responses were just like, it's not really that normal to shout about how normal you are.
Okay, I'm sorry,
exist.
I'm going back to the articles tab thing in OBS, so it's gonna play the adrenochrome video again. So,
okay, here we go.
Hashtag sorry not sorry. And now I have to adjust the crop. No, not control. Alt. There we go. Yeah, Camila Guerrero, who I think her account got suspended shortly after this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Said, I am not cis, I am normal. I am not neurotypical, I am normal. What do you think typical means? Like, neuro is is your brain stuff. Typical means normal.
I'm neuronormal.
Yeah, like, that's literally what it's saying. I'm not able-bodied, I am normal. I am not straight, I am normal. Stop giving me labels just because you feel different or feel some type of way. Hashtag respect. Now,
hashtag respect.
Yeah.
That really tickles me.
probably my favorite response to this was someone retweeted it and was like, "Okay, default settings lady." That's like what you just go into a video game and you don't customize your character, just default settings.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, I don't have brown hair, I'm normal. I don't have brown eyes, I'm normal. My beard's a little bit auburn, so that's abnormal, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, it's bizarre. The list could go on literally forever. It's
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So that's a bonus tweet. We got through the news articles quicker than we normally do, so we have some time for bonus tweets.
Cool. I've not disrupted everything by bringing this up then. That's good.
No, not at all. We got all the time in the world until 3 o'clock.
Yes.
So this meme, at the top it's a blurry picture of a church pulpit that says, "If you demand sound doctrine here, but not here," and then it's a picture of a car dashboard, "there is a problem." Now, I picked this because, like, I know what they're going for. They're going for, you shouldn't listen to secular music. You should be listening to, like, sermons or religious music or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my first thought when I saw that was that it was a GPS unit. So it's like, the GPS has to be like, "Turn left in the name of God. May Jesus bless your right turn."
It has to be like famous pastors and preachers that do the voice of the GPS. Yeah.
Oh, Kenneth Copeland GPS?
Oh my God, no. Suddenly car crashes increase tenfold.
It just randomly, like, flashes to a picture of oily fingers coming out at you. "Turn left, I blow."
Oh God. My first thought when I saw this was like, if you demand good audio from your church speakers, then you should demand good audio quality from your radio as well.
I mean, that's a fair point, but
yeah?
churches have some of the worst audio I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I used to do sound at a church, so
Mm.
I was responsible for some of that.
Very, very echoey buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not good for recordings at all. There are ways around that, though. You get those little headset mics that are, like, right close to their mouth or whatever.
Yeah. That made me laugh. Although it did, like, it made me...
Rick Schofield, Kent Hovind. "I'm not prepared for that right turn."
You missed him. You idiot!
Oh, you'd think your directions could evolve into a better sense of direction.
Here's all of the... It's one of those GPSs that's really cheap and it never updates when the roads change.
Yes.
It's the same roads from like 50 years ago. Oh my God.
Oh, I want the Kent Hovind GPS now.
Oh, I kind of do as well. I was gonna say the slightly depressing side, when I looked at the, like, you know, sound doctrine and the radio and the car thing, I was like, I had flashbacks like listening to Alex Jones in the car as a kid. I was like, oh no, just put on music without swears if that's your thing.
The government is trying to make the left turns gay. It's putting chemicals that are making the left turns gay. So only turn right. You need to turn left, make 3 rights.
That was good. That got me.
Corey Fowler says, Paula White GPS, "Go half a mile and then take a right, a right, a right, a right." Oh, somebody has to make an apologist GPS or an evangelist GPS or something.
That's a fantastic idea.
I found my TomTom while cleaning the house a little while ago, so I still have a TomTom that I don't need anymore. I will absolutely, like, if you record yourself doing all the things in apologist voices, I will start using that GPS again.
It's such a fun idea. Oh my God. If GPS exists, why do we still have maps? It's Jeremy Buck. Why do we still have maps?
The Matt Powell one is, "You will turn to the right. I am not joking."
I'm not joking.
Yeah, that's from the recording of him verbally abusing one of his friends.
Yeah, one of his church friends. What a nice guy.
Yeah, actually, so if you see my Matt Powell videos, I am often a lot more harsh when it comes to Matt than I am with other people. Because Matt is one of the people that I have the most evidence for is just a shitty human being to begin with.
Yeah,
And
I'm exactly the same.
if anyone deserves to have people be harsh against them, it's someone that treats people like he does.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a disgusting human being.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Kevin Sorbo. Wouldn't be a Twit tweets
Yay.
without a K-Sorbs. He says, end the mask mandates on planes. Well, Emma, they did that in the UK. Do you know how that went for the airlines?
Not great.
No.
Not great.
I don't know if you saw the stat, but something like 4% of all flights in the UK were canceled after the mask mandate thing dropped because the airliners couldn't run them. Their staff were sick.
Yeah. There was like a huge wave of pilots and other staff got COVID. So
yeah.
Yep.
You let a bunch of people onto a disease tube, they're going to spread disease. Like, quite frankly, I think we should do masks on planes even when there's not COVID around. Because planes are gross.
They are. You are just in a little germ tube with a whole bunch of strangers.
Yeah, and like, those little pockets in front that people put their phones in? Other people put garbage in that, and they don't, like, sanitize them in between flights. They just, like, take out any physical things that are there and leave it. Like, they don't have time to wipe everything down in between flights.
No.
I'm not sure I would even trust their blankets, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what difference it makes to Kevin Sorbo's life to have to.
Yeah, it's not like he's flying
probably
anywhere
in, like, business class anywhere, right? Like, I can't imagine he has to be near people anyway.
Yeah, no. He would have to be cast in a movie or something before he would be near people.
Yeah.
Or have to fly anywhere. He's got 30 scripts, but because the left-wing media controls Hollywood, nobody will make a movie of one of his 30 scripts.
That's unbelievable. That's so typical.
But speaking of movies, Emma, how's his Dark Materials coming?
Good.
If you don't know, Emma works on it, right?
I do work on it. I'm working on series 3, and I worked on series 1 and 2. I can tell you, I think it's really good.
I'm so excited.
That is it. I can tell you nothing else.
Stupid NDAs. Can you tell us what your job is on them?
I'm a VFX editor.
Nice.
So it's like slightly button monkey, sort of techie stuff, little bit of editing. Yeah.
So you're the one who did the opening, right? You did the whole opening thing.
No, although that was my company, not my company, the company I work for. Did the titles. It's nice actually because the VFX supervisor is for the whole show works for the company. It's like from the company that I work in. Nice. So we know a lot of the client team, and it's very nice. Good collaborative time.
Yes. Yeah, I fanboyed out a little bit when I found out that you work on. It's like, yeah, I hang out with Paul. He just does Star Wars stuff. Like, his Dark Materials, what?
I was so pleased because, like, Paul is rightly very proud of his Star Wars time.
Yes.
I was so pleased to get in a little one of my own.
Yeah, no, well. You know what? Honestly, I love your content on your channel, but I had no idea that you worked in VFX. So I was just like super happy to find that out.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Anyway,
I've worked on some really bad stuff as well, though, to balance it out.
Oh yeah, so everybody has. I've worked on bad stuff too. Have you seen my channel?
Likewise.
Yeah, I barely know how to use keyframes. Like, I mean, I know how to use them, but like making them look nice when I use them is another matter.
Yeah, I mean, I did a master's in post-production with VFX, and I like learned Nuke from a VFX soup and all this, and I'm still just, I can't do it. My partner's a compositor.
I watched a tutorial video on YouTube.
yeah. I just it's not, some of my friends and like my partner are really amazing at the effects stuff, but I just never was always better at the editing and the sort of technical management, the data management, the boring stuff. But hey ho, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. All right, so on to Dr. Frank Turek, who
Yay,
says
Frank.
atheists routinely confuse knowing what's right with justifying what's right. Pin in that. They say it's right to love. I agree, but why is it right to love? Emma, can you say why it's right to love?
It doesn't hurt anybody. It's
'Cause
nice.
It's nice. Yeah. People like
It's
being
just
loved.
good to love. It's just a natural human emotion that feels good and doesn't hurt anyone.
'Cause pretty much everybody likes to love and to be loved. It's that line from Moulin Rouge. The greatest thing you'll ever know is to love and to be loved in return.
There you go.
The issue isn't how we know what's right, but why an authoritative standard of rightness exists in the first place. Is that the issue? Does an authoritative standard of right?
But does I'm confused.
Getting all the calls on stream today. That was from Luxembourg.
You're popular all around the world.
I get a lot of scam calls.
Yeah. I don't really I feel like maybe I've misunderstood what he's trying to say, but when he says why an authoritative standard exists, does he mean like, why does God have a standard of what love is? Because I don't think he knows the answer.
No, it's
right.
He's doing that thing where they simplify the authoritative standard. Like the authoritative standard is God. God is the standard. That's the easy answer, even though that doesn't actually answer the question for anything, because how do you know that love is right with God as the authoritative standard? God might say that love is right several times in the Bible, but God is also said to be love, and he does stuff like commit genocide. So
yeah. And love is
that's not a great
subjective term, but it doesn't,
yeah, that's
what God claims is love in the Bible could be different than what we experience love is.
Well, the way I did it is I have a video where I took on the burden of proof to disprove the Christian God. And the way I went about doing that for most of the video was to just look at the definition of love that the Bible gives, and then point to the verses that say God is love, and then point to the verses that show God not being love according to the definition of love given by the Bible. Yeah. So according to the standard of rightness that Frank thinks exists, his God is not love. So love is not necessarily a right thing to do in his worldview, because, well, that's how you end up with people like Kent Hovind and Matt Powell that have openly advocated for genocide against LGBTQ people.
Yes. Yeah.
And the whole NIFB church, like they will tell you that no, God is not always love. He hates LGBTQ people.
Yeah. It's pretty not loving. I don't really, I don't know why that's the issue. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know who they is, and they say it's right to love. And I don't know why. Can we go back to atheists confused knowing what's right with justifying what's right?
Yeah, so let's take that pin out. I feel like that's projection. Because, like, in my experience, now obviously not everybody is like this. Some people just fly by the seat of their pants. But in my experience, the atheists have a more thoroughly thought out system of morality than the apologists.
Sure.
Because like we actually have to do that. We have to sit down and think about, like, why is this, like, is this right? Is this wrong? Why is this right? Why is this wrong? Who's it going to hurt? Who's it going to help? And like these are questions that sometimes it's hard to answer. So we need to actually spend time thinking about it. Whereas from a religious perspective, you just say, oh, well, what does God think about gay people? Well, Leviticus 18:22 says, don't lie with a man as you lie with a woman. So pretty clear he doesn't like gay people. Okay, but that's not thinking through it. That's just pointing to an old book from a culture that is long dead. Like I don't think, like, I know the modern modern Jews tend to try and conserve some of these old traditions, but like going back that far, back to when Leviticus and like the Pentateuch was written, it was a completely different culture even then. Like they do still have some remnants from it nowadays, but there's actually evidence that they were a polytheistic society at the time, and the evidence is pretty blatant. Like, it's right there, like in the Ten Commandments, it acknowledges the existence of other gods.
True. Yeah.
But
yeah, very weird. But then that's, morality also, changes. At least cultural morality changes and evolves over time.
Because we think about it.
It doesn't think about it because it's not
morality
objective.
hasn't gotten better because we got a new command from God. God didn't come down and clarify that slavery was wrong.
No, we had to work that out on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, God.
Yeah, so that's projection, that is.
Yeah.
And that's...
It's so strange. I hear that all the time. I see that so often. Especially, like, Frank is always, like, going on about it. But, like, the whole God wrote morality onto our hearts. And that's why we know what's right and wrong. It's like, but we used to think that things were right that are really, really definitely not right, and we all agree now aren't right. How can you... It just seems like such a weirdly overly simplistic view that doesn't hold up to reality. I don't get it.
Okay, so that's all the tweets. If you'll excuse me, I know I have some super chats to read, and for some reason YouTube is telling me that I haven't gotten any. But at the same time, it's saying that I have chat revenue, which is weird.
They were there. We heard them.
Yeah, we heard them, so I'm going through Stream Elements. What's today? April 6th? Oh, those are just tips. Does it not record the super chats in Stream Elements? I thought it did. Okay, you know what? I think I still have a Streamlabs account, and I know they keep track of super chats.
Smart.
Streamlabs is a garbage company, though.
I thought they were doing better.
I don't know if they're doing better recently, but I know they have a history of like just stealing shit from other companies, rebranding it and calling it their own.
Yeah, but at the very least, they were forced to acknowledge their weird relationship with OBS, and they have since renamed their product and are like actually talking to OBS instead of just taking things and running. So that's something.
Oh, it's not actually showing anything. Did I log in with the wrong account? I hate this because I have so many Gmail accounts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're
Me too.
Some of them are titled the same as other ones.
This is the problem with everything being tied to Google accounts now. You need like 5.
Okay, maybe I have to have an alert box set up through Streamlabs in order for that to work. But like it's picking up my videos that I did, but it's not showing any donations or revenue from Super Chat. Okay, well that is annoying because it like where the...
It's a dill pickle.
I'm so sorry for those of you who sent super chats. I've literally on the YouTube page, it's telling me no new super chats or members yet, which is rather infuriating, given that I know there's like 2 or 3 of them.
On YouTube.
Okay, well, with apologies to those who sent super chats, I will maybe take screenshots in the future or something. Oh, well, I know YouTube was having back-end issues. Was it yesterday or the day before? Like, it wasn't even letting people switch accounts. So, like, Paul had a stream scheduled.
Every day, isn't it?
Well, Paul, I know, had a stream scheduled that he was late for because YouTube would not let him switch out of his personal account and into his streaming account. Neither could he change the thumbnail or reschedule the stream because you need to log into that account to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's still glitchy as all hell.
yeah, so let me actually wait, let me see. Maybe it'll show up. No, it's oh no, I got on top chat. Let's go live chat. Switch to that.
YouTube keeps just telling me I'm a child and I'm making things for children, which is very upsetting.
You can change the default value there, so it doesn't ask you that on every video.
It's that it flags it after the fact.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
because
so
you like
all
do
of mine
puppet
are-
shows and stuff.
Yeah, the puppet one, but I had it on my gaming channel. Plug. It kept flagging it as not made for kids. It kept disabling comments because it thought I was a child. Because if it thinks there's a child in the video, then it will disable comments. And I had to keep emailing and being like,
I'm not
26.
a child.
I'm not a child. Please stop doing this.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. All right, well, with apologies to the super chat people, I guess we're going to end the stream here. And I can't scroll up in the chat to see it. I hate it when stuff like that. I hate it when people give me money and I can't give them what they expect for the money.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like it makes me feel shitty. So thanks,
Right.
YouTube. YouTube, you're making me not do what I said I was going to do. And like I have enough issues remembering to do the things that I need to do anyway. I don't need them helping me with that. So
It's amazing that it doesn't just keep a log.
it does.
Like
It's supposed to. I'm in the viewer
Yeah.
activity tab. It's supposed to, but it says no new super chats or members yet. But
So
then
bizarre.
up at the top it says chat revenue $17.64. Like it's not a lot, but it's enough that there are super chats.
Yeah.
Oh. So yeah, now I'm mad. I'm mad on behalf of the people that sent me money. But anyway,
Upsetting. Think about the 3D printing to help sperm is there. Think about that again. Cheer
3D
yourself up.
printing sperm. Let's watch me drink adrenochrome again. There we go. That'll make me happy. Okay, so it's time to roll the credits. Thank you so much for joining me, Emma. Remember to take a peek in the description for the link to Emma's channel. So check that out. And I still haven't figured out a catchphrase sign off for this yet. So bye.
Bye.